What is up, everybody? Jason Burmis here, out in the Quad City area, and I am on the Iowa side. I spent some time over on the Illinois side yesterday, and I guess I'll give you my rundown of how I feel about the area. Pretty industrial, but at the same time, obviously, this is a pretty big park. People seem pretty nice. The roads kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie about that, but then again, New York's roads kind of suck. But we're gearing up for the Clash of Legends tonight. So pumped for this. Pat Miletich versus Michael Nunn in the Quad Cities. Get your tickets right now. I think it's like $40 for general admission or $50 at the door. And then I think front row is $150. And I might have to put the sunglasses on while the sun's out. How we doing? How you doing, Oregon sunshine? Get your questions in. I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can as I walk through here. But I gotta tell you, I like how Iowa is handling this. All right, I really do. Even on the Illinois side, you can tell that people are really not happy about it, and they're pushing back. A lot of the places that say are mandatory masks are not enforcing it. Pat Miletich himself, I believe, has said he will not wear a mask at the event tonight. I'm getting press credentials, so I'm not sure whether I have to wear one or not. It says I might have to wear one. I don't want to. Did you catch the report that Arizona has now mandated the vaccine? No, I have not. How are we doing, Kevin Wainwright? No, but that's very bad news. That's extra bad news. We got to push back. There is no mandatory anything for a vaccine for adults. There is no mandatory vaccine for children either. I just want to let you know that. And we need to fucking push back, period. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's very libertarian here. I would say that, Let's see. Yes, Spiro reported that. So that's Arizona now. Is that Arizona? That's scary. A lot of people wanted me to come out to Arizona, and I'll be honest. God, it's got to be about 13, 14 years ago now. I spent some time out in Scottsdale, and I really liked it. I really liked Scottsdale, Arizona. It's hot. A lot of adobe, but that's that whole region, right? Arizona, New Mexico, even parts of Texas, there's some adobe. Although Texas is quite a bit different. But yeah, there's no such thing as a mandatory vaccination. All right, and anybody who's telling you different, not only do they need to lose their job in whatever government arena they're at, whatever bureaucratic nonsense organization they're a part of, they need to go to prison, okay? They need to go to prison. And I've been having this conversation now quite a bit lately, and the conversation goes like this, okay? Well, corporations have been voted people, Jason, so they have the same rights as people. And I'm like, what person is beyond criminal prosecution? Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. No person is beyond criminal prosecution, or so they tell us, right? There's nobody above the law. You hear that when it's a talking point, right? When it's a political talking point. I assure you, there are people that are above the law. That's a reality. That's 2020. It's called the predator class. It's called rule by bloodline. It's called actual royals. If you don't think Prince Andrew and the Queen and Prince Charles are all above the law, if you don't think the Saudi Arabian royal family is above the law, you're not paying attention, okay? All right, I'm a teacher. What if my employer says no vax job? I need the money. I know it's unbelievable. And they're gonna try that, absolutely. Corbett Report just did a video about mandatory vaccinations. What's to say? That court ruled that way long ago. There is no such thing as a mandatory vaccination, period. Any nonsense they're putting out to you, listen, they're already prepping you for the vaccination not to work. I told you this yesterday when I was on the road. 150 different vaccine trials going on now for this thing. Okay, a lot of them are running right through it. And they're already saying, well, it might end up being like the flu vaccine, which doesn't work either. Which doesn't even work half the time by the CDC's own numbers. Yeah, but it's a great idea. Well, I want to inject myself with something in my body that, doesn't work over half the time, doesn't protect me over half the time for something I have a very low probability of getting in the first place. I can't tell you the last time I had the flu. I may have never had the flu. I've been laid up with a fever before. Gotten sick before. I think we all have. But I'm trying to think, have I ever had the flu? No, I don't think so. Certainly never had a flu vaccine. That's a promise. I haven't gotten a vaccine since I took, I think, the tetanus shot when I was 19 years old in preparation for college. And had I had the knowledge that I have today, there's zero chance I would have taken that then. Period. It's ridiculous. It's a nice little park, huh? Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking around this area. The pricing is not bad. Again, you could choose between Illinois and Iowa. Iowa seems to be more my style. Okay. Period. Let's see what else we got here. And they are rolling out propaganda to argue against body autonomy. They are locked and loaded. Yes. When I was sitting in the bar last night, having myself a pint of beer, little Irish pub. If you saw my Twitter feed, I had, you know, the girls behind the bar, even in Illinois, not wearing the mask. Thank God. Thank God. And doing work, but everywhere I looked up and the news was on, even the local news, the mask debate. The debate, should masks be mandatory? I am in a public setting. I am outside. There is zero reason for me to be wearing a mask right now. Absolutely zero. Illinois is very corrupt, huh? No such thing as a tetanus shot. They give a DPT, diphtheria, what is that? Pertussis and tetanus. Iowa sounds good. Well, again, Triana 5, when is that? When I was 19, we're talking about almost 22 years ago. Close to 22 years ago. And again, had I had the right knowledge, had I known what was really going on, I would have never allowed that to happen to me in the first place. But unfortunately, like so many others in that age range, you're just ignorant to these things. You believe what's on television. I did. It took a lot to wake me up, even then. The country lost my services when they convicted me of possession of marijuana. Oh, hold on, let's see. I want to finish that one. I was a great designer. I got nothing to lose anymore. Anyway, screw their shot. Yeah, that's another thing I'm looking at on these things is marijuana laws, right? So, to me, the South Dakota seems like almost a no-brainer, except their marijuana laws are ridiculous. You can do, I think it's like 2 years in prison, or maybe a year in prison, just with a pipe with any amount of marijuana, but then they're voting to fully decriminalize or legalize and tax it. It's so weird. I'm not gonna lie. Empty strollers always sketch me out. Like, what's going on there? Just empty abandoned strollers? Okay, a little weird. Legal here, fam, in the biz in Oregon. Yeah, that's it. That's a business to get into. As for the 24th, we have to wear masks in the UK in all shops, but not in bars, pubs. Well, again, New York just basically stopped bars and pubs. They don't really exist anymore. Let me say this. I mean, looks like we got somebody sleeping on one over here, and there's a couple of the whatchamacallit areas that definitely have people like sleeping in it. So, you know, there's some problems here, but the city's not that big. And, you know, you're on the water. It seems pretty peaceful. I didn't even walk over into the actual park spot where they got some running water over there. I figured we'd do it like right here. Hey, Drew, you're in there, huh? Empty stroller is sketchy. Come to Washington State and I'll smoke you out good. Guys, it's not just about smoking out good and things like that. It's about the personal freedom to do what I want with my body if I'm not hurting anybody else. And especially with marijuana, to me, it is much more safe than alcohol. And I know a lot of people will argue with me on that, but you know, I don't really even drink that much. I only drink at bars. I don't drink at home. I did a couple times over this COVID 1984 nonsense, being locked in my house and like on an online Zoom call with my fraternity brothers. That was about it. Jason, will the nation ever open again, do you think? I don't know. Not unless we push back now. These, you know, they talk about rolling waves of the virus. No, they're rolling waves of taking your fucking freedom, man. They're rolling waves of tyranny. They're rolling waves of authoritarianism. That's what I see. That's what I see, man. That's all I see. There's no rhyme or reason, okay? No rhyme or reason that I can be in a bar with a burger and a beer, but I can't be in a bar with a beer. What? What? When are New Yorkers going to storm Albany and demand the legislator do their job and that Cuomo step down immediately? And all of his executive orders are donezo. The man is doing a victory lap for 30,000 deaths. And remember, him and his administration, his little cronies, they're like the hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. They don't tell you that if you go in and you test positive, they send you home if you're not showing any major symptoms. Okay, and they don't offer you up anything, whether it be a Z-Pack, antibiotics, or the hydroxychloroquine. They're certainly not going to give you the budesonide. I keep mispronouncing, but I think it's budesonide. Jason Burmis, I am new to your channel, but I need to know, you are voting Trump, right? I am 70 years old, and this all scares you. It should. Am I voting Trump? He certainly is getting a vote over Biden if it becomes him or Biden, and there's no third party for me to vote for. Yeah, I mean, just so everybody understands, I voted Trump in 2016, not because I necessarily supported the guy, but I did think he was a much better choice than Hillary Clinton, and quite frankly, there was not a third party choice that I could see myself voting for morally, right? Like Gary Johnson, I just felt like he was a shill for the Clinton campaign at that point. And I had interviewed Gary over 10 years ago now, over on InfoWars, back when I was there. So again, I'd love to see a Jesse Ventura last minute run. I don't think we're going to see it. You know, I would say that my vote doesn't really matter in New York one way or another. There are plenty of people in New York that are going to vote Trump, but they got that rigged show in there no matter what. And they got everybody brainwashed to believe that New York is this blue state that is anybody but Trump. I've never believed that narrative. People love Donald Trump in New York. They do, especially in New York City. You know, he's got a cult personality there, for sure, and has for years. I agree on Ventura. Cuomo makes enemies. Sleep with the fishes. Why isn't anyone insisting on party candidates be heard and recognized? Why are we not even going to have a Democratic National Convention? Why are we pushing mail-in ballots? Why do we have no accountability? Why is it that Joe Biden hasn't picked a vice presidential candidate yet? Why is it that they are running a man who obviously was not the favorite of the party after rigged, let me say this again, rigged debates where they excluded Tulsi Gabbard and would change the rules to exclude Tulsi Gabbard? And Tulsi wasn't perfect, and you guys know it. And I've called her out on some of the things that I disagreed with. Heads and shoulders above everybody else out there. It's not even close, really. That's like the real truth. She was that much better than everybody else up there. Pete Bootlicker was there to put out establishment talking points and step down right at the right moment. Elizabeth Warren is there. You know, Grandma Oatmeal, no one was going to vote for her. No one's voting Joe Biden. People aren't voting for Joe Biden. They are voting for the Democratic Party and against Trump because they've been watching too much Rachel Maddow. Okay? Do you feel the lack of oxygen and the mask can cause brain damage? Sure, hope not. But it can't be good for you either. Let me just wrap it up on Biden for a second. Put aside the fact the guy is visibly senile and drooling on himself, can barely get out a sentence. We went over that 1 hour Biden speech where literally 50 plus times he stumbled or said something ridiculous or forgot where his son had served, right? All those things. He almost called the reporter a dog-faced pony soldier again. He did. He got, you're a dog-faced, but, and he stopped himself. He's like, oh, what's going on? You know, forget about the fact that he's on camera manhandling children in the halls of government to the point that any father that stood there and allowed that to happen to their children, you're not a man. You're not a man. You're a piece of trash. And for you not to speak up after the fact and say, wow, I must not have been paying attention. I am a bad father. I don't know how anybody lets their kid get touched like that 2 feet away from them, okay? And I don't know how you don't denounce that person after quite, okay? Call me, you know, I'm not calling for any violence, but I know if my kids, if my nieces were being touched like that by anybody, shit would be going down pretty quick, okay? Forget about all that. The guy, an establishment hack that, I mean, he voted Bill Barr for Attorney General when he was the youngest Attorney General under George H.W. Bush, and said he was the best thing since breakfast, okay? Anybody can watch my Bill Barr Deep State Deep Dive video. This guy is an establishment guy. This is a New World Order China guy, okay? This is a guy that helped cover up 9/11, promoted the war on terror, promoted Guantanamo Bay, promoted black sites like Abu Ghraib, promoted weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And no one's calling him out even on that. No one ever has. And when he was under Obama, don't forget about Operation Timber Sycamore, where they had the CIA go into Syria, okay, which they did, and began that war. It had nothing to do with ISIS and everything to do with regime change. This guy is a dangerous guy, and he can't even think for himself anymore. Y'all want to talk about Donald Trump grabbing him by the peasy? This guy actually did it. And it got completely erased by the mainstream media. Derided. That's how disgusting of a situation we are. It's right in your face. The double standards are everywhere, man. 174 people watching, 58 thumbs up. Let's get the thumbs up. Let's see, Operation Popeye. The authors of Virus Mania show that the alleged contagious viruses are, in fact, particles produced by the cells themselves as a consequence of certain stress factors, such as drugs. So you're saying that it manifests through within the body is what they're trying to say now? No, you're a dog-faced pony soldier, Rev Spanker. Let's see. Poor Syria, there's nothing left there. Yeah, no, they've fucked that country. And that was a second world nation on the way to being a first world nation. Very secular. You had an intelligent guy like Assad running that country. Say what you want. Say he's a ruthless dictator. Lie and say he gassed his own people. There's no evidence of that. But out of all the world leaders that I've seen and seen speak, he does so in English in an eloquent manner, telling people what's really going on in his country, explaining who the terrorists really are, explaining what the white helmets are there for. But that rains on mostly deaf ears, because not only will CNN not tell you that story, Fox News ain't going to tell it to you either. It goes beyond that left-right paradigm we don't believe in, right? Jason's worse with names than Sam Tripoli. It's Tripoli, and I just made it Tripoli. Am I worse with names than Sam Tripoli? What about Durham? I don't know. He used to, what did he used to call me? Burmaz or Burmese? Burmese was my name. Did you see the video of Jeff Sessions swatting Biden's hand away from his niece? No. But if, again, I'd like to see Jeff Sessions, the video of Jeff Sessions giving Biden a right hook to the jaw. Something I don't think will ever happen, but hey. Sam Chipotle. Let's see. Everyone's seen the new Israeli news vid. What's this? With Deborah Tavares released today, Al Gore making rules. I have no idea what that is. That doesn't make any sense to me. Have you found Biden's island yet? No, I haven't found Biden's island yet. Someone sent me something, but it was really weird and didn't make any sense, so I'm not sure. Is that really a thing? Thanks for all the reporting you do. Thank you. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Remember, guys, I am fully demonetized on this platform. Trying to show you, well, at least there's no one in the park with a mask. This has been a no-mask zone. Iowa over Illinois seems to be less concerned about the masks at all, thank goodness. You know, there's nobody over here with masks on. There's a whole gazebo of people down there. Nobody over there's got a mask on. It's good. I don't know why you would have a mask on again in 80+ degree weather. It's maddening. It's ridiculous. It's inappropriate. It's dishonest. It does you no good. It's not going to help or protect you from anything. From anything. Again, if you want to wear a mask inside, Go ahead. No one's stopping you. But don't force me to do it. Let's see. The microbes are deadly. And hold on, let's go back down to this. The microbes are deadly, and only the modern medications and vaccines will protect us from virus pandemics. I don't know what that even means. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Did you hear Fauci say, hope we didn't wait too long and herd immunity has set in? No, I have not seen Fauci say that. Hope we didn't wait too long and herd immunity has set in. Did he really say that? I mean, that's pretty wild. But then again, it's Faucian nonsense. If you watched my Tony Fauci video from like 3 weeks ago now, I think I made it just before I took off. I think it's like July 1st or maybe the last day of June. You'll see every time he gets called out on his bullshit, he has to admit he's gotten called out on his bullshit, and he just agrees with the person, and you just never see it in the news. So what am I talking about? Well, Mr. Fauci, isn't it true, sir, that basically there's a low percentage of vaccines that actually come to market? What is that percentage, sir? Well, more don't than do. What is it, 60-40 Fauci? 70-30? 80-20? No. 6% make it to market. It's a 94% failure rate to get vaccines to market. And even when they do, they have the side effects, okay? They don't work all the time. And again, if you look at their own influenza A and influenza B numbers from this year, the CDC's own numbers, you can't make this up, under 50% influenza B, which is the swine flu, which is H1N1, which they fear-mongered about over a decade ago, okay, said it was going to kill everybody, that it's 37% effective against. Excuse me? What? So basically a little better than 1 in 3? A little better than 1 in 3, Fauci? And he admits all this stuff. And then when the guy says, hey, we should really be talking about therapeutics and treatments and not just focusing on the vaccine, I couldn't agree more. And then Rand Paul calls him out on the same shit, and he says the same thing, and nobody says a damn word. Even though I am old, I will not take a vaccine ever for anything. And there are some that make the arguments, I want to get as many vaccines as possible so I can have all these different antibodies as I get older. Good for you, dude. You want to do that? It's your prerogative. I am never going to stop somebody from voluntarily rolling their arm up because they think something's going to protect them. You want to do it? Go ahead. Don't bring your bullshit medical martial law into my life. Don't bring your authoritarian dictatorship into my life. And first of all, the idea that corporations, again, have the same protections as people, but yet cannot be criminally prosecuted and go to jail, the people that run those corporations. I mean, what are we doing? We're indemnifying a class of people that couldn't give a fuck about us. Could not. That want to dominate us. And their little lobbyist buddies that shouldn't have jobs. Jason Burmis, I haven't ever had a flu shot. I haven't ever had the flu. Yeah. What do you think about predictive programming? I think it's a real thing. I think predictive programming is a way to ease people into situations by suggesting it again and again and again and again over the years. In fact, every time you talk about a pandemic, people always go back to what? Movies like Contagion or Outbreak. And these are things that have been promoted in the public arena and by Hollyweird and military, medical, industrial complex for decades. We're talking 30 plus years at this point. Predictive programming is very, very real. And then the propaganda that goes with it as it happens is very, very real. Let me give you some Hollywood examples of that. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Donate if you can, by the way, guys. Think about it this way, all right? All the action movies from the early 80s, right? Well, who was the enemy? Russia, and we were Arabs who were freedom fighters at the time. Y'all remember that? Rambo 3, go check it out. Russia was the enemy. The Arabs were the good guys, right? Then you go to something like Rocky 4, where obviously, if I could change, you could change. then we all could change. And it's at that tail end of the Cold War, okay, that's out there. That's about the last big one that, you know, you could say like the Hunt for Red October, et cetera, that was really promoting this Russia is the enemy narrative. So you fast forward to the early 90s and you look at a film like what? True Lies, okay? True Lies. Arnie Schwarzenegger, the biggest action star out there. The Russians are no longer the enemies. Who are the enemies? Middle Eastern terrorists. That's who. It's the terrorist threat that starts to come up in the early 90s and then really beat into our heads by the late 90s and prepping us up for what? Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden and his group of Al-Qaeda terrorists. Terrorists. The terrorists. Dun, dun, dun. And then, oh, you know what? Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, all that stuff. We just go. We're ready to go, right? We're ready to do it. AFRICOM, Syria, they're all just terrorist states. They prep you for that. And now, the globe's got an invisible enemy, huh? Even scarier than terrorists, right? At least terrorists are people. Now, it's your neighbor. It's your mom, it's your pop, it's your best friend. It's the pizza shop down the street, it's the bar. They're all gonna give you a disease and kill you if people don't wear masks everywhere, they don't take their vaccines. What? What? Meanwhile, in the beginning of this thing, they started to roll the military out in a fashion that I'm not gonna lie, I did legitimately get scared and worried that we were gonna have a hard martial law in this country and that they were going to cut off New York City. That's what it looked like to me. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't, but we're still under a soft martial law. Again, in the state of New York, I can get a Big Mac delivered to my house. I can't go out and get a beer, and I certainly can't go get a handgun permit still. Started in mid-March. We're in July, baby. 4 months? You're telling me an entire third of the year, if you didn't have a pistol permit, you can't get one? That's constitutional? What? That lets me have a Second Amendment? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And so, yeah, incrementalism is real. The predator class is real. This is really happening, really going on. Ooh, I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Let's see, with the mandated masks ramping up in Wisconsin, pretty sure more businesses will fail. You know, Wisconsin was on the list until they did that. Okay? I don't think I can go there now. I don't know. I think that after this, I got to make a decision in the next couple days what the next state's going to be that I go hang out with. I think I'm going to start heading back to the East Coast a little bit, but I might stop in Missouri again. I really like Missouri. Mayor in Minnesota, or Muscatine, Iowa, south of Quad Cities, tried to order mandatory masks out on the public and businesses a week or so ago, and the Iowa City Council voted no. And that's right. And didn't the Iowa governor say no also, that they can't do it? Texas looks awful right now, bro. Okay? What is that? Debbie does sales. Come to Texas. I've lived in Texas. I like Texas a lot. But right now, it doesn't seem like they're doing the right thing when it comes to COVID 1984. Yeah, I got to tell you, I did like Missouri a lot. I mean, right now, it's probably where I'm leaning overall. I'm not going to lie. Like South Dakota, again, sounds great, but they got to fix those marijuana laws. And Missouri probably has better weather overall. It's a little bit closer to my friends and family if I want to go visit them again. I don't know. Remember, Jason said 18 months initially. What are you talking about, 18 months? What are you talking about? Who said something about 18 months? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about this thing wasn't going to be over for a year and a half. I mean, we're far from it being over. A year and a half, we might get lucky. Texas is Mexico now. I went to Hooters in Texas, and the grassy knoll met Mike Brownlow, JFK shooting witness. Interesting. Stay here in Davenport. Well, I'll be here for a few days. Again, I can't wait to get to the fairgrounds. So the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds, because we're on the Mississippi River here, is going to hold a kickboxing / boxing event, which, oh cool, I didn't even realize that's what that was. So they got like a little, it's not like a water park, but it's a place you can kind of get wet. Let's see if I got it right there in the shot. I don't know, but it's kind of neat here. This isn't a bad little park, isn't a bad little area. know, people enjoying themselves out with their families, being human beings, living their lives, you know, like they should be. Let's see, day 117, 15 days to slow the spread. Yeah, no kidding. That we're gonna slow the spread, we're gonna stop the spread. It's a virus. No, you're not. No, you're not. No matter what you do, you're not gonna stop the invisible enemy. And I've always said it's real. And then it looks like we got hit with a bioweapon, hence the HIV insertion. And that it is different from the flu. But it's also different from the flu in the fact that we have a massive amount of asymptomatic people. Come on. I mean, that's different from any other virus I know about. So guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this moment out in the park. Thumbs the video up, subscribe and share. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'm gonna be amongst thousands upon thousands of people enjoying themselves together, not for a protest, okay? Not for some kind of media sanctioned event or something that's promoted by the establishment, but something they're gonna try to keep away from the public because they don't wanna see a successful event like this take place where people aren't obeying their slave laws. Their slave laws. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share. I'm pumped. So, and if you want to watch the fights, guys, they're going to be on, doneright.tv in pay-per-view for, I think, 25 bucks. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. I can't wait to be around other human beings enjoying themselves again. And I can't wait to show you that as well. So, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip.